Welcome back to Merc with a Podcast Final 36. Madness. Let's look at our players. Scout Beach Towel, Penn State.
Corwin Crowd, Florida State.
You're listening to Merc with a Podcast, episode 109. You are listening to Merc with a Podcast, episode 109. I am your crab juice host, Scott, and with me as always is my crayon apple host, Corwin.
Greetings.
The Merc with a Podcast is your bi-monthly slave view of all things Deadpool, which is published by Marvel Comics. You can follow your Merc report to us on Facebook under Merc with a Podcast, Merc WA Podcast on Twitter, or email us at hipsterdockin@gmail.com, and Patch will send us your Hell House facts.
Yay, comics are back.
Kinda, sorta.
Well, I mean, DC's having their own little implosion going on, but, we're getting monthly comics again. There was
Bi-monthly.
12? Well, we are bi-monthly right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we only have, but for EMX, man, we had 11 books.
And this week we have 0 books because we're stealing an idea from PS I Love You XOXO, and we're doing the best Deadpool minis.
Yes, we are, because, there were so many of them.
Yeah. So the way that we did this was, so there are basically, what do I have here? There were so many minis, so there's 35 minis. So I then had to add, 34 minis. So I had to add a What If backup strips. Remember those?
The What If Venompool stuff?
Yeah. And I also added Bad Blood.
I mean, that's technically a mini.
It's a graphic novel, but yeah.
Oh, well, that too. But, minis become baby graphic novels, so there we go. And I'm mad at you that you bundled all the good mini series together and left all the crappy ones in their own bracket. Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah. See, so I'll explain how I did the bracket. So we have 4 brackets. We have the killing bracket, which is the Kilogy, the books that tie in with the Kilogy, like Deadpool Pulp showed up in there. Which I didn't even remember this was a thing. The Prelude to Deadpool Core. Yeah. Didn't remember that was. And then I was like, shit, we still have other things to throw in there. So I thought, well, Deadpool fighting other Deadpools in Return of the Living Deadpool. And then we have to have the one that came before it, Night of the Living Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, where are my notes?
In the next bracket, we have the Versus bracket, which is pretty much all the Versus books.
Okay.
Almost all of them. Then we have the In Continuity bracket. So these are all the books that take place within the Deadpool continuity. And then we have the, which I called the Venom bracket, which is anything that kind of deals with the symbiotes. And then Wade Wilson's War, because I had no idea where to put that.
Actually, that's really good reasoning behind all of these. Yeah, that's good. I'll give you points for that.
Now the way how things got ranked, I just did it by year of release. So that's why Deadpool Pulp is number 1. Doesn't mean it's the number 1 book. It's just because that came out first.
You missed a book.
What?
Are you counting Secret Agent Deadpool?
That's in there. Maybe I did, but I could have sworn I put it in one of the brackets.
Oh, there it is, Secret Agent. Oh, well, you already put the... Oh, yep, you're right. I did miss it.
Oh, Okay, so that's the other thing to explain. So because it was uneven, we have the preliminary rounds, which we have 2 books, which will make it to the actual real
Right.
round.
I need a pen.
So, should we just start off with the first
Well,
bracket?
first thing, before we start off with the first bracket, which is your favorite bracket altogether out of the 4?
Uh, is a bullet available? I will be using that metaphor a lot in this because, trust me, some of these books, let's face it, I think we're going to have a book that will make it pretty far that deserves not to make very far.
Maybe for yours, but we'll see. Let me see something.
Oh, and then we should also explain, since there's 2 of us, if we come to a draw, we had a listener. I don't know if he actually is a listener anymore, but we had a listener submit his answers. So Simple Wag will be the tiebreaker.
Okay.
And if he didn't vote for any of them, then I guess we're going to roll a die.
Oh, I don't have my dice with me here. Wait.
I do.
Okay. I know I have it.
I have the die that I got when I was drunk and went to Walmart one day. So
I have some nice black and red die. Perfect. This one we use for You Are Deadpool.
yeah, that's one we used.
All right.
All right. So start with our
you
preliminary
never said your
round.
favorite bracket. So what is
Yeah, I was kind of
what is
avoiding
the
that on
what is the
purpose.
term? What does the term mean about the bullet? Explain that.
Oh, it just means that if I had a choice to pick one, I would just pick a bullet because these are all terrible. No, probably the versus bracket. I think is the best.
You're crazy. All right.
Oh no, not versus.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
the Trilogy.
That's better.
That's what I meant. Okay, so preliminary round. We have Deadpool Too Soon versus Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe again. I think this is obvious, but I say
Of
universe
course.
again. Which one?
Yes, kills the Marvel Universe again. I'll put it there for you. Too Soon was just, I mean, that's the one where they're all like the mystery in a house and somebody killed a poor bushman. It was, it can't compare to the Kills the Marvel Universe again. I mean, the first one is great and the second one is just, it continues that, especially how they ended the second one, how Kills Again, where they ended with him, no, wait, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Which one is that one?
No, Kills Again was the one where we think it might have tied in with
Yeah,
Old
where
Man
you also
Logan.
killing Red Skull. Okay. That's not the ending I thought it was, but Kills Again probably still definitely up there, but continue.
All right, so let's go into the actual now real bracket. So we have Deadpool Pulp versus Kills Again.
I really had to flip through Pope again. I did like Pope a lot. The cover is definitely memorable as well, the Jay Lee covers. But I still fell for Kills the Marvel Universe again.
Yeah, I didn't read Pulp, but from what I remember from you reviewing the book way back in the day, no, Kills Again is by far the better book. All right, now we have Deadpool Kills Deadpool versus Deadpool Illustrated.
This one was.
I'm going with Kills Deadpool because well, yeah, besides that, but I thought it was the nicer, like, for the trilogy, it was the nicer ending. And Kill Illustrated, again, it just ended. There was no ending. It just ended.
But that makes it a quadrilogy, doesn't it? You have Kills the Marvel Universe, Kills the Marvel Universe again, Killogy.
No. Kills the Marvel Universe again is totally separate.
No, it's not. It's the sequel.
No, that's not Deadpool.
You
have Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Then you have Deadpool Kill Illustrated, and then Deadpool Kills Deadpool.
I could have sworn Kills the Marvel Universe again steps in there as well. No?
No. That's just a totally different book. And that's the one that you and I speculated it's kind of a prequel to Old Man Logan.
Okay.
That's the one where the villains teamed up and they brainwashed Deadpool to kill all the Marvel heroes.
Right. And
That deals nothing with Dreadpool.
okay. Let me see something because he has the same. Does he have the same lettering from the same voice or whatever? The red and
No,
nope. Okay.
no, the lettering was black boxes with yellow words.
I thought it was the red boxes with the.
That might have been again, but the Dreadpool was black boxes, yellow words.
Okay. Okay. So
Anyway,
kill,
so
kill
what did you
illustrated
pick?
or you gotta go Deadpool kills Deadpool. What did you go with? Yeah. Yeah,
That's what I
because
said.
Killer G did just kind of flop, you know.
All right. So we have Return of the Living Deadpool versus Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Mm, this was a tough one. This was a really tough one. And I had to even look at the sheet of paper because I had to go back and forth. I picked Return, no, Night of the Living Deadpool. But this was
Same.
tough. I mean, the ending of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe is just so perfect where he walks in the writer's room and you just have to wonder, like, Cullen Bunn is sitting there typing away and Axel Alonso, um, which one of them? Oh, Cullen Bunn is talking to the artist. He's like, make me look handsome exactly as I am. There's a lot of there's a lot of funniness with it. But
Yeah. But Night of the Living Deadpool, that was just such a cool concept of it wasn't even the original Deadpool. It was a clone of Deadpool, wasn't it? No, I'm thinking Return to Living Deadpool wasn't the original Deadpool.
I don't remember all that. I'd have to look at it. But uh,
Yeah, Night of the Living Deadpool. The premise was that Deadpool was the last Marvel
hero, right?
superhero left in a zombie apocalypse with civilians. Totally in black and white. Yeah, that was so good. All right, up next we have Return to Living Deadpool versus Prelude to
Do we
Deadpool
need to
Core.
say anymore? Okay.
No, I didn't even realize that Prelude was a book. All right, let's go to the next bracket. So our preliminary round, we have Deadpool versus Old Man Logan versus Black Panther versus
You can go
Deadpool.
first with this bracket.
Okay, so I picked up a gun and I just shot myself in the face because neither of these were good
Really?
entries.
Really?
I mean, I will go with Old Man
Wow.
Logan.
You went with that one. Over
Yeah,
zebra-headed Deadpool when he's talking to the zebra head.
yeah. The art was just so bad in Black Panther, and at the end of the day, I just felt like, at least with Old Man Logan, we got a decent story, but with Black Panther, it was just like, it was so ham-fisted. It was like, well, we need a reason for these two to fight.
Okay. I actually agree with you. I
Why?
really swore you're going to pick Black Panther, but I did pick the Old Man Logan.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the art was just good. The story wasn't great, but definitely over Black Panther.
All right, up next. So that moves on. So we have Deadpool versus X Force versus Deadpool versus Old Man Logan.
Okay.
I'm going with X Force because one, I like Dwayne
hmm
Straczynski. Two, I kind of like the history, like the actual history aspect, how they went back in
Yes.
time to the Revolutionary War and everything. And it was the 90s like version of X Force with Boom Boom. And I really like the coloring. Deadpool versus Old Man Logan was just blah.
hmm I agree. And you
So
had Pepe Larraz on the art for X-Force versus Deadpool, which made it beautiful. And like you did say, the art, I mean, like I'm saying the art in the 90s was definitely a touch because this is Deadpool before he had the little flap thing on the top of his head. This is a straight
Yeah.
like Spider-Man like mask. So yeah, I agree. Versus X-Force.
Up next we have Deadpool v Gambit versus Deadpool and Gambit split second. I mean Deadpool and Cable split second.
Uh,
I mean this is so lackluster, but I'm gonna go with Deadpool and Cable. I think if anything, I enjoyed it more that it was Fabian and Riley Brown back together more than anything.
Agreed. I think the Riley Brown art for Split Second is kind of what made it interesting. They did get a bit, excuse me, long in the tooth near the end there, where they really just kind of, I don't know if too far is the word, but I think they just kind of got a little bit too far out there with it near the end there. What about you? The story just kind of went, you know,
I totally forgot what the story was. What wasn't it like they had to keep they had to keep repeating like the same 10 minutes over and over again or something like that.
well, it was Deadpool kind of at one point hopping through all kind of time and seeing Cable all the different ways and going over Cable's history basically. But it just, I don't know. I think near the end it just kind of lost me.
All right. So we are going with split
Yes, I'm
second
going with
for
Split Second
this.
as well.
Notice how we didn't even talk about V Gambit. That was just
And it had some
horrendous.
gorgeous covers though.
And it had that awesome story about that guy who was a marauder.
Yeah, okay. Well,
All right. Okay. So here's another one that requires taking a bullet to the
oh, that cover
face.
artist was crap, what's his name? Um, oh, I'll have to find it because I can't remember. Go ahead.
We have Deadpool the Duck versus Deadpool versus Thanos.
Um, you're first, so
This is a tough one because just hear me out. Deadpool the Duck had gorgeous art. I do remember liking the art for it. Versus Thanos, I would say, even though I don't remember this book at all, seriously, when I went to the Wikipedia to get all the minis, I was like, oh, huh, this was a thing. I don't remember anything about it. Um, I would probably say it had a better story than Deadpool the Duck if I did
yes,
remember it.
agreed. It did have a better story.
So Corwin, which I don't have a horse in this race.
I'm going with Thanos.
Okay, that's what Symbiote picked as well. No, I'm just saying I don't have a horse in this race whatsoever. So whatever you picked, I would say yes, that one.
Yeah, okay.
Now, this next one, I feel like we might. This is where we might have to bring in a third vote. We have Deadpool versus
We
the
better not.
Punisher versus Hawkeye versus Deadpool. I'm going with the
Okay, thank you.
Punisher.
So did I. I was wondering. I was a little bit worried there for a second.
Oh, really? I really thought you were going to go with
No,
Hawkeye.
no. The Punisher issue just had the what's his name? Perry. Is it Perry Perez? Which Perez is it? Um,
Maybe. Remember the best joke of all that I made when Deadpool killed the Punisher, and I'm like, okay, issue 4, it's just gonna be Deadpool going, "I won," and then 34 blank pages.
no, the Perry
The Punisher didn't die.
the Perry Perez art and this it was just so wonderful. And then of course all the backstabbing that was going on. I mean, it's almost like a Garth Ennis story. Kingpin lighting people up in the trunk, shooting people up, setting the trunk car on fire. It was just a much more solid story for me. And the art was just gorgeous, and I love the covers as well.
Hawkeye, that was written by Jerry
which we
Duggan.
usually love. What
All
did we say
right.
about the Punisher and the Rock? Something with we had a Rock joke.
It was just on the cover. It was just like Punisher flying a Deadpool with just a rock in his hand. All right. Now it's time for our continuity bracket. Uh, this one, I have no horse in this
Really?
race. We have in the preliminary round. We have Deadpool Assassin versus Deadpool Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Only one of these I read. Okay. And the one I did read was horrendous.
We're still going with it though.
The other one was written by a piece of shit human being and Rob Liefeld.
We're going with Assassin.
Okay, good.
What did Sipawag even pick for that one?
He went
Okay,
with
I
Assassin
thought
as
so.
well.
There was no way in hell anybody was gonna pick Bad Blood.
All right. We have Deadpool the Circle Chase versus Deadpool Assassin. Again, I
Are you
don't have a
crazy?
horse
You
in
you really
this.
didn't like his first miniseries, the Joe Madureira?
Look, I'm just going with Circle Chase because I hated
But
Assassin.
I'm just saying, you didn't like Circle Chase. It's like you have no love for that miniseries.
No,
Oh
none at
wow,
all.
wow. That was like okay. Anyway, yeah, Circle Chase for sure.
All right. Up next, we have Deadpool Dracula's Gauntlet versus Fear Itself Deadpool.
I know you're going with Fear itself.
Nah, I'm going with Dracula's
Really, you went with
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet. So the whole Hammer time, the whole Hammer, you just. I remember you loving that.
Look, as funny as hell
Walrus.
as Fear Itself, as Fear Itself Deadpool was, and that Bong Dazzle art, Dracula's Gauntlet was just such a great story.
I agree. Who was the artist on that one? Yeah,
Dracula's
I forgot
Gauntlet.
Bong did it Fear itself, but
Dracula's Gauntlet, it was Riley Brown
I
and
think it was
somebody
called.
else because that was a digital first.
I think it was just called Deadpool the Gauntlet.
Well, yeah, but then when they collected it in a trade, it became Deadpool Dracula's
Okay,
Gauntlet because I think they didn't want the Dracula aspect to be ruined at first.
got you.
Yeah, that's when we got the introduction to Shikla, and then Deadpool marries Shikla, and then the Thunderbolts show up, and the Thunderbolts just go, okay, this counts as your personal mission. Which tied into, remember the Thunderbolts, each one got their own personal mission.
I do not.
Really? You don't remember that whole... Remember, they would do an actual mission,
Oh,
and
somebody
then
they
one
get
of
to
the
pick the next
members...
mission. Right.
Yeah, and it would usually be some sort of personal mission, which they decided to count the whole, like, fucking Marvel Universe versus Dracula's army as Deadpool's personal mission. All right, up next we have Mrs. Deadpool and the Howling Commandos versus Deadpool Suicide Kings.
This is gonna be interesting.
See, I never read Suicide Kings, so that's why I'm going with Mrs. Deadpool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember, we're doing Suicide
For the
Kings after we're done Cable and Deadpool.
Okay. I enjoyed Miss Deadpool and the Howling Commandos, but I went with Suicide Kings because, and now that I'm looking at it again, it's pretty much the characters we've been loving. It's Deadpool, it's Punisher, it's Daredevil, Outlaw. I mean, it's you're gonna enjoy it. So I am gonna go with that book, and it's got what's his name on the art? Carlo Barbary.
All right. Well, this will be our first tiebreaker. And Siblag voted for Suicide Kings. So Suicide Kings makes it to the next round. All right. And up last, we have Mercs for Money, Volume 1. I just had to put it in there as a clarification
Right.
for everybody. Versus Deadpool's Sins of the Past. I'm going for Mercs for Money. Again, wasn't that good. But then it's up against Sins of the Past, which, again, I have no idea if this is the first
It's
Deadpool
the
mini or if Circle Chase was. I mean, they're so
look.
just the
It's the
same.
second one with Juggernaut and Black Tom, where they're after Deadpool to get his hand to give it to Black Tom to help him heal. It's where we get Siren and Deadpool starting their flirting and stuff. I'm gonna have to go with Sins of the Past. I mean, Merc. I have to look at Mercs for Money again because I forget sometimes which one.
I I think Works for Money legitimately ended with Evil Deadpool came back. But we never got a continuation of
But
that plot line.
Mercs for Money is when they had to go and steal the robot and stuff, and we got the terrible Master Matrix crap from that, right?
No, that was Deadpool and Spider-Man.
So what were they? Oh, maybe it wasn't Master Matrix, but they were stealing some kind of robot in Mercs for Money, the one that could
Or
predict the
something
predict the
like that.
future.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I do remember that it ended with Evil Deadpool like being the mastermind behind it all.
Yeah, spinning. Wait a minute. So that actually spins out from the Killer G's, which makes it in continuity then. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, but whatever. I throw it over here.
I'm teasing. No, I'm still gonna go with Sins of the Past.
All right, let's go to what Simple X said, and he said Sins of the Past. So that is the winner. All right, our final bracket. But first, we have to do the preliminary round. We have Deadpool, Secret Agent Deadpool versus Absolute Carnage versus
You need to
Deadpool.
say no more.
Uh, I'm going with
Are you
Absolute
kidding
Carnage.
me? Over Secret Agent Deadpool?
While Secret Agent Deadpool was a funny and fun book, I feel like Absolute Carnage, though, was a better book overall.
Deadpool versus Carnage was a better book overall.
Absolute Carnage.
Oh, absolute. Sorry, I'm thinking about versus. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Okay. Yeah, that kind of changes it, doesn't it? Mm. Yeah, you're right. Absolute. Spider-Man and Deadpool faking hurt. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Absolute for sure.
All right. So up next, we have Deadpool Wade Wilson's War versus Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool. Again, I'm going with
Yep,
Absolute
I agree.
Carnage. I just barely remember anything from Wade
Wade
Wilson's
Wilson.
War. I just remember it ended with he was in an insane asylum telling this story.
It was basically like a alternate universe take on Deadpool. Um, it's Dane Swierczynski
Yeah, who
and
I do
Pearson,
like.
which oh man, I used to love his art. Jason Pearson. Um, yeah, I mean, Wade Wilson War isn't bad. It's a fun one. It's just not set in any kind of real Marvel universe itself. But
All right, up next, we have Deadpool Secret Wars versus Deadpool's Art
oh,
of War. Again, I had to throw Art of War over here because I had no idea where to put
yeah,
it.
come on,
I have no horse in this race. I mean,
dude.
Art of War had amazing
Okay,
art by
okay.
Koblish.
What's the but?
No, and I was just gonna say Secret Wars. I mean, I guess the story was kind of cool. That it's like, oh no, Deadpool was there the whole time. But one of his things was like he made the Beyonder say like, oh, everyone had to forget he was there.
Hmm. I still think that you're going to pick The Art of War
Yeah,
because the art is just ridiculously good, and you've got Asgardians and trolls and a whole just bunch of craziness.
yep.
Oh,
Where are
I'm
you
definitely
going
going with
with?
Art of War. There was no contest.
All right. We have another no horse in this race one, which is Deadpool Back in Black versus Deadpool versus Carnage. Can we just agree that this is like the worst bracket?
Yes, we can because there's Back in Black. You don't even have to think about that. I'll pick it for you.
Uh, I was gonna say, let's just see what Symbol
Sure.
picked, because I know he loved Carnage, and yeah, he picked Deadpool versus Carnage.
We may have to get him on to explain that one to us again.
He even wants us, when we brought in the Gentleman's Decoy, he actually wanted us to go back, re-review it to see if we would like it better.
When we re-review what's that other series that you need to read again? The one we started with.
Suicide Kings?
Yes, Suicide Kings. The one you still have to read. Which one are we going to go for the anniversary episode? Pulp.
The 10-year anniversary, we're doing Pulp. Suicide Kings, we're going to do after Ultimate Spider. We do what you call it, Cable and Deadpool. Once we finish up with the special, then we go into Ultimate Spider-Man, that one arc with Ultimate Deadpool. Because you agreed, let's not break up the Deadpool run, let's just do it afterwards, and then we do Suicide Kings.
So maybe we might look at Carnage when we do Pulp, maybe.
All right. So we have up last, which fuck it, let's just agree that we're doing You Are Deadpool here. We have You Are Deadpool versus What If Venom Pool. Yep. Which we should point out, Venom Pool was written by Rick Remender, if I remember correctly.
You do remember correctly, but we're still going to forget about that book.
We have You Are Deadpool. Okay, should we just agree that You Are Deadpool is probably going to win this whole bracket?
There's a very good chance of it. But we weren't going to do any Gwenpool then, right? Gwenpool Strikes Back, her miniseries. I just realized.
Yeah, I decided just to leave that out because Gwenpool's kind of like her own character. Okay. And if I did, then I would have to strike off Bad Blood, and then it messes up the brackets. So whatever. All right. So round 2, I guess. We have Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe again versus Deadpool kills Deadpool.
Well then, I really like Deadpool kills Deadpool. I really like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe again. But I think I'm gonna go Deadpool versus Deadpool for this one.
Ooh, I'm gonna stick with Deadpool kills Deadpool. While I see this is a tough argument.
It is.
Yeah, this isn't like, oh, I'm gonna go against you or Pandapool. No, it's like, while I did really, really like Kills the Universe again, Deadpool kills Deadpool better just because how it wraps up the whole trilogy. All right, let's see what Sybil
I gotta give him. Well, we picked the same thing. But you just want to see?
No, you picked versus
kills Deadpool.
You said. Oh, I thought you said kills
Deadpool.
again.
But I do love kills again. How the very inventive ways that he goes about killing everybody. And then, of course, there's that one part with Magneto where he lets Magneto live, since that was just worse than killing him. So, I mean, Kills Again is one of my favorites. But, yeah, Deadpool kills Deadpool, just all the different Deadpools on top of that and how they team up and, yeah.
All right, so here's another incredibly tough one. We have... Night of the Living Deadpool versus Return of the Living Deadpool.
Which very much is a spoof of Walking Dead, if you really look at it, especially with the black and white.
I'm going to go with... I like Night of the Living Deadpool better, just because that was Deadpool in the zombie apocalypse with nobody else in the Marvel Universe. Right. While Return of the Living Deadpool... While it was good, had a different artist who wasn't that bad either, but I prefer the original artist. And that's the one where it got into that they broke off into, because the way how Night of the Living Deadpool, I'm just telling the listeners this, the way how Night of the Living Deadpool ended was if zombies bit Deadpool, the zombies turn into Deadpools. So Return of the Living Deadpool is now humans are living in a Deadpool apocalypse.
Oh, and they had the
Where
different
there's,
houses of Deadpool too, where they broke it down by the
yeah, which they
artists,
went by
writers.
different, yeah, which they went by the different writers. So you had the house of Duggan and Posehn, the house of, whatchamacallit, like the house of Fabian, the house of Kelly, the house of Simone, so on and
But
so
the
forth. Oh yeah, and then Cullen Bunn makes a jab at himself. It's like, yeah, but nobody wants to be part of the House of Bunn.
but just the ending,
But
man, the ending for Return of the Living Deadpool was just
wasn't that they go to AIM or something to like make something to kill off all the Dipples?
he has to
I
he
forget
has to
how it ended.
sacrifice himself. He goes into the machine, and
But he's not even the original Deadpool. He's just a Deadpool that was bitten by like a zombie bit or whatever. We find out that he's not like patient zero.
right, but he becomes the cure in order for him to do it. He starts falling apart, and he has to be bitten by them and spread it around. And just how the girl at the end has to go finish off the last few Deadpools, and she dresses up as Lady Deadpool. It's just they nailed the ending. I gotta give it to them. But
But
yeah,
where
I,
are you going? I'm going with
I
the
will go
first
with the
one.
first one too, but it is very, very close.
All right. Up next, we have Deadpool versus X-Force versus Split Second.
Uh,
Ugh. I mean, looking at this, it's just like, ugh. None of these are really that good.
I think,
When I said X-Force was good, I just meant it was good compared to Old Man Logan. I didn't mean it was the best
but it
versus
had the
book.
best art,
Yeah.
and that will give it the edge I think it needs to pass Split Second.
Plus, also, I remember X-Force better than Split Second. I just don't remember anything from that. I just remember the Back to the Future cover and that they had to repeat like the same 10 minutes over and
No,
over
at,
again or
at one point
whatever
he
it
went through
was.
their whole Cable's whole history, and it kind of relayed back to the beginning, and I can't even remember all the details of it, but the art on X Force, which is oh yeah, why can't I even think of his name now? Not Shane Davis. Shane Davis did the covers. Pepe Larraz, duh. Pepe Larraz, man, the art is just fantastic. So X Force for me.
All right. All right. Up next, we have Dipple versus Thanos versus the Punisher.
Punisher. I don't think there's much
Yeah.
to think about on that one.
Again, I don't even remember the art in Thanos.
It was Travel Foreman, I think, not Travel Foreman. What's his name?
Okay,
Um,
cool. Somebody I still
the
don't
covers
remember.
is by the Luther Strode dude. Um, shit, I'm getting old. I can't remember things now. Who did the Tradmore? There you go. Tradmore did the covers.
Yeah.
They're pretty weird
Yeah.
covers. Not
Not
helping.
helping.
Okay. Well, the artist is kind of forgettable on the book itself too. So yeah.
All right. Up next, we have the continuity bracket. We have Circle Chase versus Dracula's Gauntlet. Dracula's
I'm gonna go
Gauntlet.
with Circle Chase, man. I just that first miniseries, the Joe Madureira art especially. Maybe it's just nostalgia for me, but that first miniseries. So Circle Chase.
All right. Let's see. Here's the one problem I have. Are you going to be like this with every like? You're just going to this all the
You
way
went
to
out.
the
I'm
end?
just gonna what?
Oh, but it's the first
But it was so
mini
good.
that you're just going to drag the Circle
I don't
Chase
know.
to the
Maybe.
end.
Maybe.
Uh, Sibwag, he said, wrong one. he also had the same exact thing too, and he picked like the same bracket, and he picked
Of course,
Circle
line
Chase.
yourselves up, grunts. You're about to fall like ducks in a row. Come on. The G.I. Joe, the original G.I. Joe, plastic hair, fatigue wearing, scar on the face, 10-inch tall, tough guy.
All right, up next we have Suicide Kings versus Sins of the Past.
I'd actually go with
Uh,
Suicide Kings for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that because no, in a sense, I kind of want to go with Sins of the Past just to piss you off. So then when we go with Circle Chase versus Sins of the Past, I could just hear you go, I don't know which one.
You can pick whatever you want to pick, but I think Suicide Kings was just kind of a step better.
All right, let's just. I mean, you know what? Should we go with what Simple I said for this, or should we just go with Sins of the Past? Because, like I said, I mean, with Suicide Kings, because, like I said, I have no horse in
No,
this
pick whatever one you
race.
think is better, and then we can hear Sibawag.
Fine, I'm gonna go with Suicide
Okay, what did
Kings.
Sibawag pick?
What did he have? He had the same bracket, and he went with Sins of the
Wow.
Past.
Okay.
All right. And now for our Venom bracket, we have Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool's Art of War.
Versus Deadpool's versus. Oh, okay. Absolute Carnage.
I have to go with that. While Art of War has the by far more superior art, Absolute Carnage just has the better story.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Then we have okay. We're just going with You Are Deadpool
Versus Back in Black.
Back in Black. I mean, it's just one of those like. There's no argument here. Back in Black. Thank you for participating. You made it this far. Congratulations. You get a trophy for participating in this. Thank you.
Why is
Goodbye.
Bun so hot and cold with these series? I mean, some of them he kills it, and then other ones he just I don't know. He writes Back in Black. I mean, he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 series. Well, I'll say that to the end. Go ahead.
All right. Up next. So now we're in the final 8, round 3. We have Deadpool Kills Deadpool versus Night of the Living Deadpool. I will say this one is tough because, again, we're kind of going with the trilogy as a whole almost.
Mm-hmm.
The Night of the Living Deadpool is just so damn good.
Agreed.
All right. So we have Night of the Living Deadpool as the winner. I mean, Deadpool Kills Deadpool. I mean, congratulations. You made it this far. We're sorry to see you go.
And it wasn't just for Panda Pool either, huh?
No. That was, I mean, you think that going back, you originally thought that out of the trilogy, you thought the first one was the best.
Yes.
While I thought Kills Deadpool was, but I just thought, not only that, I thought the Kills Deadpool, like even when we got the makeshift Deadpool core, which is the original Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, Deadpool Pulp, Kid Pool, Panda Pool. I mean, it was just like that's what I wanted Deadpool core to be.
Agreed. Even Dogpool was there when he got killed.
All right, up next, we have Deadpool versus X-Force versus the Punisher.
I actually went with the Punisher on this one.
Same.
I mean, go ahead.
I think the Punisher had even though the Punisher didn't have the greatest story, I think it had a better story than X-Force.
Yeah, and remember like the Cruel Summer 3-issue arc? It's kind of like
Yeah.
just that down to earth kind of uh, not even gangster story, but just like crime kind of story where it's just no crazy superheroics, but just a hard hitting story, like an action movie. That's what it really is. It's like a really big action movie. All right.
All right. Up next, we have in the continuity bracket, we have the Circle Chase versus Suicide Kings.
Who wrote Suicide Kings again? Let me see. Yep,
Benson?
you are correct. Mike Benson. Ooh, I I I guess it's nostalgia, but Circle Chase, man, that modern era art is just I just love it. Vanessa, Slayback, Black Box, or Comcast.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Suicide Kings. I did not like those two miniseries.
Yeah, well, nobody said you had good taste.
All right, and Siblag. For this one, he had Circle Chase versus Sins of Pass. Ooh, we are in a
He went with Sins of the
dilemma.
Past.
We're going to. He went with Sins of the Past,
Wow.
so we will have to resort to a die. Uh, I'm shaking it now. Call it. Do you want even or
Even.
odd? 5.
Uh,
So it is going to Suicide Kings.
First time we see Deadpool without his mask in shadow. Well, mostly in shadow. His history with Vanessa. How can you not love Circle Chase? Even Weasel shooting people. All right.
All right. Up next, I mean, I think we know who's the winner here, but I have to say it anyway. In the Venom bracket, we have Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool, and then we have You Are Deadpool.
Are we still talking about this?
No. Okay, remember how I said we're gonna have a book that's gonna make it really
Mm-hmm.
far that doesn't deserve
Mm-hmm.
it? That was Absolute Carnage. I, I'll throw it in there too. And X Force. That was another book. I was not expecting it to make it that
Oh,
far.
just the art in it, man. Come on.
Yes, I understand, but I mean, with technically we have X Force in the top 8.
It's 90s glory. But yeah, I mean, it deserved
All
it.
right.
It definitely beat Old Man Logan. It didn't have much competition with that and Black Panther as well. I mean, or Gambit, uh, or Split Second, even though Split Second was probably the best out of the rest of them. But
All right. So we now have the final 4. Now, we're going to also do 2 rounds of this just so we can determine like who's in 4th place, who's in 3rd place. You cool with
sure.
that? And while we're at it, uh let's just do predictions. Like out of these 4, what would you personally list as your like top 1 through 4?
Oh,
If you just want to write it down, and then when we're done with this game, we'll say it. You cool with that?
oh, well, yeah. My 1 and 2, I still haven't decided which one is better. Mm,
Okay, I did it.
all right.
All right. So our final 4, so everybody knows, we have Night of the Living Deadpool, Deadpool versus Punisher, Deadpool Suicide Kings, and Your Deadpool. So our first matchup, we have Night of the Living Deadpool versus the
All right.
Punisher.
So, Night of the Living Deadpool. Do you want to do creative teams at all or anything?
Yeah, sure. You have that
All
information
right.
in front of
We
you.
got Cullen Bunn and Roman Rosanas on Night of the Living Deadpool for Deadpool versus the Punisher. We have, if they want to hurry up and open, Fred Valente and Perry Perez for Suicide Kings, which I know I mentioned before. It's not Benson. This is another one where Mike Benson and Carlo Barberi. And then finally, for You Are Deadpool, I do believe it was what Al Ewing and who was the right artist? Al Ewing and Selva Espin.
Who did different art
Oh
styles
yeah,
too.
he this book is great. Anyway, um, all right. I don't think we're gonna have a hard time with these final four. I think the final two were really gonna have a challenge, but that.
I'm going. So we have first off, we have Night of the Living Deadpool versus
Mhm,
Punisher. I'm going
of
with
course,
Night.
of course. I don't think there's much of a discussion with that one.
All right, and then we have Suicide Kings versus You Are Deadpool.
You Are Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here, let me say what Simplewag's final
Sure.
four was. He had Night of the Living Deadpool versus Thanos,
Okay.
and then he had Deadpool Sins of the Past. I'm trying to see which versus Deadpool versus
Wow, he really
Carnage.
didn't. Yeah, I guess. Did his Carnage beat out You Are Deadpool, or how far?
Uh,
How far did You Are
yeah.
Deadpool get? It got all the way to him versus Carnage.
Well, when we get to the final two, I'll say what his final two was, but that's his final
Okay.
four. So let's do the final three. You know, I meant like see what comes in third
Between
place.
versus Punisher.
Punisher versus Suicide
Um,
Kings. See, I'm gonna go with Punisher just because I never read Suicide Kings, and Sibylite didn't have any of those, so we would have to roll a
well,
die. But I'm willing to concede if you say Suicide Kings really is that
nope.
much better.
Punisher.
So Punisher, you're going to say is the third
Yes,
place
even though
contender.
Punisher's in both books, but yes, versus versus Punisher is definitely a better book.
All right. Now we have Night of the Living Dead. So coming in fourth place, we have Deadpool Suicide Kings. Coming in third place, we have Deadpool versus the Punisher. And now for the finals, we have Night of the Living Deadpool versus You Are Deadpool.
I don't know, Scott. This is hard.
Look, this is hard. I, I I'm going with Night.
Yeah.
I think while You Are Deadpool, just hear me out. You Are Deadpool is creative.
It's not really a comic. It's not really a full story.
Salvin Espin changing his art style for each decade was like brilliant. It's just like you said, it's not a comic because you have to sit. It's a game. What did they say? It was the first tabletop comic book,
Probably.
tabletop RPG comic book. That's the thing. You can't sit there and read all 5 issues straight through.
Yep.
Night of the Living Deadpool is a coherent story. I mean, while You Are Deadpool is a coherent story, it's like I said, you have to go from issue 1 to issue either 2, 3, or 4, to either 2, 3, or 4, to either 2, 3, or 4.
We kept screwing up the rules on top of that too. But hey,
I listened back to that episode a while ago, and when we got to episode, you were like, editor's note. No, that's not how you play it.
oh, Paco Diaz did help with issues 2 and 4 on the You Are Deadpool, so it wasn't all Self Espin.
Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Night of the Living Deadpool.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that. It's just original and great.
So, Simple his final two was Deadpool versus Thanos versus Deadpool versus Carnage.
Wow.
And his number one was Deadpool versus Thanos.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess he really liked that one.
Oh.
Like I said, look, I bet you if we go back to those episodes, we probably bashed it to all hell. But, and I'm not trying to bust his taste. I'm just saying, to me, it's a really bad miniseries if I don't even remember it. Like, that I just blacked out of my mind.
I mean, you got Death, you got Beyonder, you got some of those cosmic beings and stuff, but yeah, it just, I don't know. It didn't hold me. It didn't hold me at all. But
I didn't ask him to do what was his third. If I had to assume, it was probably, considering how much he loves Deadpool versus Carnage, I would assume it was probably Deadpool versus Carnage.
yeah. So looking at,
Oh, no, that was his second. No, it was, so yeah, Night of the Living Deadpool versus Sins of Past. I don't know when he
he
would
would have
have
won
picked.
Not Living Deadpool.
Okay.
Even though, I mean, we just made it win, so we might be a bit biased. So looking at the miniseries and the different writers, we had Mike Benson did two different miniseries. He did Pulp and Suicide Kings. Um, we had, why is that listed as an artist? That's not right. Um, Jerry Duggan did three between Gauntlet, Hawkeye Versus, and Miss Deadpool and the Howling Commandos. Fabian should have had, yeah, Fabian has two between Split Second and The Circle Chase. Swarinski has X-Force versus X-Force and Wade Wilson's War. Christopher Hastings had two with Secret Agent and Fear Itself. And of course, Adam Glass had two with Pulp and Suicide Kings, which are two very, very good series. And then, of course, we have Cullen Bunn, who had a stunning 11 books. Now, out of these 11, you're laughing. Out of these 11, let's see what his ratio. Well, I guess he doesn't have a bad ratio because I think we would say there's three stinkers in there, which would be Versus Carnage, Assassin, and Back in Black. Trilogy, which I think we liked. Then you throw in Kills Again, which kind of in the same vein. Secret Wars, Deadpool Secret Wars, you remember enjoying a lot. Yes?
Yes, I mean, look, I could be eating my own words and I probably could have hated it, but looking back now, I would say, yeah, that was pretty good.
And actually, that's where we got our first taste of Gwenpool, because she was on the variant cover. I'm not a huge fan of Secret Wars, but it's definitely not terrible. Then you have Mercs for Money, which I would say falls in the middle. What do you say?
Um, yeah, it was okay. But then he gave us the actual real series, which was great.
Right. And then, of course, we have the two Night of the Living Deadpools. So,
Well, and I was going to say, you have to remember that Carnage was not his idea. That was just a book Marvel was like, hey, we need a writer. You want to write this? Yeah, I guess. He has even, like I said, at the WonderCon panel, he has even admitted that was not his
best
favorite
moment.
work. Well, yeah, it was basically he came in and it was like, it's a paycheck. He phoned it in. And we can kind of agree that he kind of did that with Assassin.
Oh, yeah. Assassin was just...
And especially now hearing some of the stuff that has come out of editorial, like how that towards that like kind of run of the X-Men, they weren't allowed to do anything.
Yep.
So you kind of see where Bunn just got fed up, and when he got to Assassin, he was like, yeah, I'm phoning this in. Yeah, and then getting fucking, whatchamacallit, Mercs for Money canceled after, like, he didn't even finish the last 2 issues. He only did, like, 5 issues. 5, 6 issues, something like
Wait,
that.
how many books do we have? 30, 36, you said? Oh. I'm missing the
Yeah,
Venom
so Peter David wrote
Art of War.
Mark Waid wrote Circle
Hmm.
Sins of the Past. And then, like I said, Rick Remender wrote Venom Pool.
Yep.
And Blacker and Acker wrote V Gambit.
Hmm.
I have no idea who wrote Deadpool the Duck, and nobody cares.
No, I can tell you, Deadpool the Duck was Stuart Moore.
Thank you for showing up to work that day. Yeah, no. So let's go over what was your final four. I wrote Suicide Kings was 4,
Yeah,
Punisher was 3, Yours 2,
yeah,
Night is 1. That's what
exactly
I.
the same.
Oh, okay,
Exactly the
awesome.
same.
Uh, yeah, I guess before we close up, have you watched any more
We are
ReZero?
caught up. Yes.
Oh, also for the listeners to know, the dub is
Oh, it
up,
is?
but is going weekly, I believe. So I think maybe episode 1 of the dub should
Wow,
be
so
up
they're a few weeks
tomorrow.
behind. Okay. They're gonna stay behind then.
Yeah, usually they're only 3 weeks behind, but because of COVID, they're kind of like what 5, 6 episodes behind.
Did we already talk about all the Deadpool series? I think we did. No,
All the
the
minis.
regular ongoings. I think we talked about the writers for the ongoings and the best run, right?
I We kind of did that with our Deadpool in the Decade.
Yeah. Well, that was the last 10 years, but okay. That's still great.
All right, but back to ReZero.
Hmm.
So, what did you think of Subaru back in the real world?
Oh,
That
that was kind of
trial.
cool. I like it. To give you a little bit of what kind of was supposed to be going on before we see him. I like how it ended with him walking out the door and his mom, and then boom, we kind of know where he was and how it went from there. No, I enjoyed it.
But we never. Yeah, and then we got the reason why he was basically a reject, that he just did not want to live in his dad's shadow.
Which, okay. I don't know how, I don't know. I guess it makes sense, but yeah,
Well, you're starting to see it. It's like, oh no, Subaru isn't like a fucking.
slacker.
He's not. Yeah, he's not really like an idiot slacker. It's just like he just fell into that trope.
Yeah.
And then so now we're up to 2 deaths this season.
I love that second one. It was just like, okay, this is going back to how his random shit would happen to him in the first season where it's just kind of out of nowhere.
Oh, and you have to give him credit. It's like, who hired you? Oh, I never tell my who my clients are. It's like, oh well, at least he knows how to play the
Yep.
game.
Yep.
That it's like, look, I know I'm probably just gonna die, so I might as well just ask you
Yep.
this so I can take this information with me. It's like, fuck. And then Beatrice saves him at the last second.
I'm wondering if, well, I don't think they're going to do a save point at that point, but you have to wonder if Beatrice screwed anything up. But I don't think they're going to kill that many of them off like that.
No, no, because aren't they all dead technically right now? Or Rom made it, but the other maid
Yeah.
didn't.
For Frederica,
The Panther woman.
Frederica.
Yeah, she didn't make it.
Yeah.
So I can't see her dying off so quickly. So yeah, Subaru's probably going to die. So we'll be at his 3rd death this season.
Yeah, things were going so well.
But here's a question: do you think this is his 2nd trial?
What's going on right now? Um,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because he left well, he could still be in there, but I don't think they play it like that. Especially since it's in his own head anyway, so I guess he can die and come back without really anybody knowing. But mm,
Oh, so do you understand now the intro to last episode with the witch we did?
yes,
Like, I just love it. He's just like, how's Amelia? It's like, really? You can ask her any question in the universe. One being, hey, how's my family doing? That's what I thought was the funniest thing ever. Like, when he did the first trial, when he was, quote unquote, back at home. And you're just like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. That this is the Isekai series, that he's actually from Earth. Totally forgot about
I mean,
that.
I didn't forget, but you know,
No, but I mean, as the series goes on, like, it's just like he never mentions home anymore. Doesn't even play with the thought of, I wonder if I'll ever go back home again. He has just accepted that this is his
well,
world.
he's gonna win, quote unquote. He's gonna win here before he heads back home. That's kind of how I see it.
Right. Oh, and then yeah, it gave me a sticker shock when I saw Roswell without his makeup last episode.
I wasn't really shocked, but his I didn't
I don't know why. I thought he actually
I,
looked like that. I
no,
didn't realize. It's like, oh no, he's just a normal human.
he did show something about putting on makeup before. He either mentioned it or
Okay.
did it, but I know I didn't expect his eyes to be two different colors like that. That one kind of was like, oh, didn't realize that one.
But yeah, nah. I'm enjoying this season.
I am. It's really good. Gianni's really stuck on it, so my oldest is liking it a lot.
Oh, and One Piece update. I am at 7. I think I'm past the 760s. Yeah, I think I'm hitting. I think I am in the 760s right now. So, and there's like 920 episodes
Jeez.
so far. So, still have a way to go, but I'm closer than ever. I'm still on Zao, so it's going to be a while till I get. Oh, it's good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, man. That last arc was like 110 episodes. And they threw a fucking tournament arc inside the arc. For no apparent reason. I felt like the writer just went, you know what? I need to kill time. How should I do that? Tournament arc.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who started it. I don't know if it was Dragon Ball or what, but yeah, that goes a ways back.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about? Oh, actually, I have one more thing I want to talk about. Since we have time, I finally watched The Crow.
Oh, good lord.
Dude, that movie is so good.
It's a classic.
I mean, for a comic book movie of a comic book, like an indie comic book series most people don't know about from 1995, holy shit, was that good.
I agree.
And then I'm told not to watch any of the other ones.
There's only one movie they ever made, and that was it. That was it.
I actually looked at the cast for the fourth movie, and I'm like, this is a pretty good cast. Let me see what the rating, what the Rotten Tomatoes score is. 0%.
There was no fourth one. There was no second or third one.
I'm starting to think that Dennis Hopper was not a good actor.
Don't recall. I know the name, but I can't picture what the face looks like.
He was the villain from Speed.
It sounds familiar, but
But I feel like maybe that was the only good movie he was ever in, because thinking about it, he also played King Koopa in the Mario Brothers movie.
Wait. Who wrote Speed again? Somebody we know. Was it a comic person?
I am going to the Google machine.
I think it was a comic person that wrote Speed.
No. Written by Graham Yost. He did write Band of Brothers, which was really good, and The Pacific. He also wrote Justified. He did some good movies. The Americans. And then he also did Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. So he did some bad stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, no, The Crow had no right to be that good.
Oh yeah, man. That's definitely up there as a favorite. Not a favorite, but a really good movie.
All right. Oh, and going back to
Hmm.
Evangelion, a few episodes back, I asked my dad. He said, no, there is no naval ship with an escalator. You know how that's stupid that is? That defeats the purpose. Because my dad used to work on naval ships. He was a boilermaker. So he would know a thing or two. I'm like, yeah, do naval ships have escalators? No. They barely have elevators, and most of the elevators are just used for freight.
Hey,
That the only like passenger elevator really there is, it was on the I think it was the Iowa, maybe. That was one FDR used in World
well,
War II.
it's a future submarine. If you really have to know.
But Corwin, still, it defeats the purpose of having an escalator that if they're at red alert, they have to be walking up and downstairs.
I
Having an escalator really
I
doesn't do
don't know. I
much.
was just saying, hey, I was just making shit up.
And knowing the speeds of escalators in this universe, as we saw in like what was it, episode 2?
Well, that was the city.
The slowest escalator in the world. So getting back to Deadpool, I'm really shocked at how much we agreed on
I'm
in
not.
this.
I didn't think Night was
Really?
gonna come out on top like it did, but I'm not surprised we agreed on it because
No, no, I thought we were going to have to refer more to the third party list.
nah, I didn't think that.
Oh, and going back to the Versus book, we can agree that most of the Versus books were just all terrible,
Yes.
right?
Let me pull it back. Oh, I closed it already.
I mean, we also had Deadpool versus Carnage, Deadpool versus Absolute Carnage, and then we had versus X Force versus Old Man Logan versus Black Panther versus Gambit, versus Thanos versus Punisher versus Hawkeye. If you wanted to include it, we could also say versus Howard the Duck.
Mm. Yes, they were mostly bad. This we can agree.
How many were good? That's the better question.
Looking at the verses, Punisher, X4, the last two
And
basically, the last two in the bracket.
now, was there anything that was really shocked by?
Shocked.
You were probably shocked by the circle chase. I would say, if anything, you were probably thinking the circle chase would make it to the
I
final
didn't think
four.
Circle Chase. Yes, I would definitely say I definitely thought it would have made it to the final four. I was really undecided between it and You Are Deadpool, but yeah, I knew it was gonna make it at least that far.
And I mean, Absolute Carnage. Yeah, again, Buck. I was not expecting to make it that far,
I mean, if
but
you really look at the competition, I mean, what competition did it have?
I mean, okay, here. Put it this way? If you look at the
Oh, no, no,
final,
no. Let me take that back. Let me take that back. Secret Agent Deadpool, yes. I think that would have given that kind of gave it a run for the money. Not Ray Wilson's War, but that Secret Agent Deadpool, I agree, probably would have shaken it up a little bit. So I'll take what I said back.
Secret, yeah, yeah, what's up against
Yeah.
Secret Agent? For me, because how fucking Google cuts it off, like with Secret Wars and everything. Yeah, what can you do? All right, let's wrap this baby up. Uh, You can listen to our podcast friends if their podcasts are still even running. Who knows? But we have Double Page Spread, Word Balloon, Why I Love Comics, Captain Wax, and Sailor
Word Balloon is
Business.
definitely going strong. He's doing video shows now. He's putting out all. He's doing it full time. So definitely check his show out. He got some really good interviews on there.
We have no idea about the others. Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at ZombieHighX23. You can follow Corwin on Twitter at EMPcast. You can always follow us on Facebook at Merc with a Podcast, on Twitter at MercWA Podcast, or email us at hipsterdocking@gmail.com. Do you have anything else to end on?
Nope. We'll see you guys next month when we'll have some Deadpool books to cover. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode because we definitely enjoyed putting it together.
As we copied off another podcast to do it.
The final best ofs and competition brackets is nothing new.
Did you listen to that podcast
I did
yet?
not, but I think I have it bookmarked.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Robot Chicken Hulk with another PSA. Do you have skeletons in your closet? Probably not. Not the real ones, anyway. This expression, meaning something in your past that you wish to keep hidden away, comes from Old England. In the Middle Ages, not much was known about human anatomy. Autopsies were occasionally performed after the Black Death plague in 1348. But dissections of the human cadavers for purely scientific reasons occurred very rarely. Bodies of executed criminals served as the only source of legal cadavers. Women's bodies, however, were rarely used, and usually cadavers were mutilated during executions and also missing various body parts. Lack of refrigeration made for hasty dissections. Even the best universities perform dissections only once or twice a year. To overcome this scarcity of human bodies, medical students had to steal bodies of newly dug grave sites for study or buy them on the black market. The grave robbing business thrived in the 18th century England. Grave robbers became known as the Resurrection Men. British law strictly prohibited surgeons from dissecting cadavers except for those of executed criminals. The ill-gotten skeletons were usually thrown into rivers or fed to the dogs. Skeletons were sometimes kept for future study, often locked away in the closets, for possessions of them was a punishable crime. New Yorkers rioted for 3 days in April 1788 when they learned that the doctors at the hospital of the city of New York were robbing graves. Subsequently, the law was passed in 1789, allowing doctors to legally obtain corpses for dissections. And now you know. Do, 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 do.